Good morning, Buffalo. How are
Good.
you all doing today?
Doing great. What a beautiful day. It's freezing cold,
Hey,
as always in the winter.
wish I could feel it. Everything on my background is AI, so it's actually moving, but I'm not actually there, so I don't feel it. But I want to, maybe sometime in the near future. But anyway, to get things started, we have a couple of questions coming from the Meta or Facebook social media. To get this one started, every year Pantone releases their big color of the year announcement, and it always gets people thinking about refreshing their homes. But at the same time, most homeowners are dealing with very real questions like why their bathroom ceiling still develops those little mold spots even after using the right paint and doing everything by the book. So let's start with the question from one of our followers on Facebook. Her name is Colleen, and her question is, we used a paint fur, uh, the ceiling. I think this is not fur, but for I copied. Okay, for the ceiling in the bathroom to avoid the mold spots. But guess what? Even with an exhaust fan and always taking the Swifter every day to wipe down, I still get those little mold spots. Please help.
Great question, Colleen. Hi. I actually know Colleen. I did see that question. Bathrooms are a tricky spot for paint. And the reason that they usually get mold spots is because of moisture. So, one of the things that you can do if the people in your family take long hot showers, if you're using a lot of product in the bathroom, is you can change the ceiling paint from a flat to a sheen, probably a satin. We do this pretty regularly in bathrooms, but there's a process. You got to clean them. So, if Colleen, if you're going to do this yourself, you have to clean the surface first, make sure it's dry, clean it with like a mold killer, which you can get at Home Depot or any department store. So you're gonna want to clean it with that, like a spray, wipe it. Then you're gonna want to wipe it clean with a damp cloth to get the chemical residue off. The next step is a really important one, which most people miss. You have to prime it, and in that case, if it's getting mold regularly, I would probably prime it with an oil-based primer. That's going to lock in anything that was already growing on the ceiling, so that it kills it, and it'll basically keep it from coming back if the issue is just the moisture from taking showers. The next step would be to apply the ceiling paint, usually 2 coats of a satin. I would probably do a urethane finish, and that should take care of the issue. Now, a big thing, Aldrin, is that most people's exhaust fans aren't actually working. They sound like they're working, but they're clogged up or the vent is clogged up. So that's another thing. If it's an older exhaust fan, they're pretty cheap to replace. Maybe $100. You can pull it out, put a new one in, and that should eliminate the problem. Thanks, Colleen. That was a good question, and it's something we run into a lot. We actually paint sheen on ceilings all the time in bathrooms because people are get sick of seeing the spots on the ceilings. And sometimes those spots are not from just mold. They can be products like if you're using hairspray every day or certain kinds of shampoos, or if you burn candles in the house, it'll some of that the vapors and the chemicals will stick to the ceiling and create colors. So
Okay. Well, thank you, Jerry, for answering, and also thank you, Colleen, for question. If you have any follow up questions, again, we will be posting regularly on our Facebook and on all of our social media. You can do a follow up question there. I will see your name. I will put it up, and then we're going to get to talk about it on our next Coffee with Kahuna. Okay, so moving on to the next question, we have Angela. She mentions here painting ceilings, especially textured ones.
oh, Angela, first coffee. It is called Coffee with Kahuna. Look at it's coffee time.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, I have one. Man, it's big.
Textured ceilings are an interesting subject because if it's popcorn ceilings, if they are not yet painted, you may not want to paint them because once you paint them, it locks the popcorn onto the ceiling, and then it's very hard to get off. If the popcorn hasn't been painted, it's pretty easy to get off. Once it's painted, you're not stuck with it, but it's very hard to get it to scrape it or grind it off. Sometimes you'll have to go right over it with new drywall. So I have textured ceilings in my home in a few of the rooms. They were put there by the previous homeowner, and I painted them because I didn't feel like taking them down. They were already painted, so I just repainted them. So the big thing, I guess, with textured ceilings is if you are going to paint them, use a slightly thicker nap roller so that all the little bumps get covered. Because if you use a thin roller like we usually would use on a flat paint, you might not get all the little bumps covered. Or if you're painting fresh popcorn, like popcorn that hasn't been painted, you're going to get a ton of it falling off. So it'll chunk up in your roller, and it'll chunk up in your roller anyway, but you'll want to use a fat nap roller, and you want to swap the roller out probably a few times while you're painting the ceiling. So that's it. Yeah, love them, hate them. They're out there. 30 years ago, the construction industry started spraying ceilings. It was a fad at the time, and also it helped to make the building process go faster. I mean, because I don't think most times they don't fully finish the ceilings, the seams. So a lot of times when we remove popcorn, we have to go back and do some drywall finishing and skim coating before we can repaint the ceilings. Good question. That's a great question. Something we do a lot. Actually, we're on a popcorn job today. One of my crews is doing a popcorn removal today. So it's very common. We do it all the time.
Okay. And yeah, thank you so much for Angela for that question. Same with Colleen. If you have any follow-ups, just post it on our social media, and we'll get back to you on that one with our next coffee. Hopefully, Jeremy's still with the first cup, so not going too much on that coffee.
Look at it's winter, and I underdressed for you so that I would look like a
Hey,
guy.
hey, let's go.
So
Yeah. We have our last and final question. This one is coming from Candace. She mentioned using different wall painting techniques and discuss the 2026 Pantone color of the year, which is Cloud Dancer.
okay, I did look this up. Cloud Dancer is an off-white. It got some heat in the news for just being kind of bland, as they'd say, but I personally like white. I have a lot. My house is mostly white with some blue accents because I live near a lake, a freshwater lake. So I went for kind of like a seaside look. So again, Pantones the color choices are usually it's just to rile up the industry. It gets people thinking about colors, about painting. It's a lot of times I think it's interior design people who do this. I suggest that people pick colors that they love. It doesn't matter what the hot thing is. For forever here, the hot thing was gray. And people are starting to move away from that. They're starting to go to more bold colors or back to whites and neutrals. So, but if you like gray, hey, paint your house gray. So we tend to think whatever you want is what you should have. Don't worry about what the industry says. It's funny. I have a funny story about this. I lived in Puerto Rico for a year, and everything in Puerto Rico is super colorful, like pastel, super bright, a lot of teal, orange, yellow, like really, really pretty, Caribbean colors. So when I came home to Western New York, my home at the time, I repainted it, and it looked like a fruit bowl. Like my friends would come in and they're like, wow, like because the colors are so aggressive for Western New York where I live. And it was just because my mind was back in Puerto Rico. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna brighten it up in here. So that's kind of the beauty of painting, I guess. You can change your colors every couple of years and change the feel of your house pretty easily by using paint. Great question.
And that's about it. And then linking to your story, so basically it's a refresh. So what better time to start doing refresh to your house, or to your to that space, better this January. So if you're already thinking of doing some refresh to your house, to that specific room that you're looking for, um, go visit us. Visit us at kahunacoatings.com. Everybody that's already watching this one that already knows our Facebook meta page, you can reach me there. You can message on the comments that you want to, schedule something out. You can also reach us on Instagram, and then we have our newly launched YouTube channel, so you can view us there. There will be links in the comments where you can reach all of our social media, especially our website. So, looking forward to your questions, your concerns, and then maybe we could do a refresh for you this coming 2026. So, again, thank you so much, everyone, for watching in. Jeremy, you have something to say?
Yes, and information about anything is available everywhere. So there's no hoarding information. There's no use in us not telling you what we know. And if we don't know it, we'll look it up. We'll find it out. So yeah, it's a great time to do this kind of stuff because you can do a lot of research yourself. If you are having trouble picking a color, we do have design people that we work with that we can refer you to. So that's always something to keep in mind as well. And yo,
Yeah,
have an awesome day. You too, Aldrin. Have a great day.
and that's about it. Stay safe. Thank you so much, and have an awesome day.